Alrighty. So where are we with, on the working session, you put in an ordinance for septic. I heard you say that you want to match Tallapoosa website for the building codes and permits. You want to start with septic. You want to put in 2 inspectors. So where are we with all of that? Because clearly that's my main focus. So I'm checking in to see where we're at with the building codes and permits for housing and for septic, because we don't have any, we don't need any, we're covered by the state. And as you well know, the mass majority doesn't want it. So where do we stand with all of that?
Direct your questions to the chairman.
Anyone that wants to answer is who I'm directing the question to. No one wants to answer?
This is a comment period. Jason, you might want to expand on that.
This is public comments, so any comments you have, feel free to make them.
Okay, so nobody wants to comment.
This is your time to make public comments.
So there is no room for discussion on the topic. That's what I hear you saying. So there's no discussion between the people and the commission on the topic of building codes and permits. There is no forum for that to happen at all in this
There have
county.
been public sessions regarding that, and if it is to be enacted, there will be public hearings related to it. But right now, it's not on the agenda. You asked to be on the public comments period. This is your opportunity to make public comments.
So it was talked about at the working session. So that's my
It's not on
comment.
the agenda, so it's not being considered at this time.
It's not being considered today. It's definitely
not
being
on the
considered this
agenda.
time because I have everyone on camera saying that it is being considered. It's
You
just
see it on
not
the
being
agenda.
voted on today, is what you're saying,
It's not on the agenda.
for today.
That's correct.
Okay.
Mr. Jerry Fuller, I think there was a miscommunication there. Correct? Okay. I would like to add, everyone's phone numbers and emails are on the website. If anybody has any in-depth questions or discussion with the commissioner, feel free to call them anytime. Okay. Officials or board members. You have anything, Joyce?
Yeah, I had a large taxpayer that had insufficient funds in their account when they wrote it to us. And I need to see if we can borrow that money into the account until that's cleared up, so that we don't have any fallback on our end. It was supposed to have been cleared up by Friday of last week, and it has not. I think we've got some issues, but I just wanted to touch base with y'all to see if that was a possibility. Otherwise, what I'll do is I'll just have all of the agencies that I paid that money out to send checks back until it's cleared, and then I'll have to reissue those checks. So whatever y'all think that you might be able to do, that would be great. Also, I had a question from a taxpayer today about permits and how that would raise their property taxes. And permits are not associated with property taxes. In the real world of property taxes, there's only a couple of things that either raise or lower your taxes. Only a couple things. And so I wanted to touch base with that. So if you build something, your taxes are going to go up based on the property's value. If you remove something, your property taxes are going to go down based on that new value. When people buy and sell land in Cleburne County for way more than we have it appraised at, then that goes toward our ratio study, which increases your values, which in turn increases your property taxes. So permits would not have any effect on whether or not the taxes went up or down, except for the person that's building the new building or structure where it's being permitted. Does that make sense? Okay, so I wanted to clear that matter up. We're not going out and upping your value of your home based on a permit. That doesn't make anything change in my office. We measure houses and structures, get square footage, material, and then we use the state appraisal manual to give us those construction units. And then that is how your property taxes are determined as far as based on the values that only happen in Cleburne County. We don't look to Calhoun County, we don't look to Haralson County, Georgia. We don't look at anybody but Cleburne County for our sales. And we've got some outrageous sales. So if you're upset about your property taxes, thank your neighbors who are moving in from other states and paying astronomical amounts for their property, because that's why your values are going up. Also, I don't know if everybody's aware of this, but there is a 7% cap that will end in 2027 that's currently in place. The legislators at the state level put those 7% caps. They may choose to extend that 7% past the 3 years, or they may change the cap, or they may take and do away with it altogether. I'm not in charge of that. But if you have taxpayers that are concerned with that, they need to call their local legislators, their senators and their legislators, because they're the ones that passed that law. So the 7% cap says that even though we're increasing the value of your property, your taxes will not exceed 7% of what it was the year before, unless you have added a structure, increased the size of a structure that's already existing. So those are just a few things that I wanted to just put out there. I know that there's a lot of just random stuff being said that, that I control the millage. I do not control the millage either. It's set. The millage for this county is set. There's 37 mills that I collect for, 6.5 for the state, 30.5 for the county, and that includes your school board, which is 17 mills of that whole tax is just school board for the county. So if you're curious and you need to know where your money's going, call me. I'll give you the breakdown. I'll tell you what I've paid to those agencies over that period of time, and you can see that for yourself. But I'm always available for that. You just give me a call and I'm happy to do it. And if there's anything I can do for y'all, in this time, I appreciate what you do. Thank you.
John, you have anything?
The only thing I have is for an update on a few grants we're working on. We're working on a grant, I think it's an EDEC grant, it's for, it's a de-escalation simulator. So any kind of hits that we have, we can put this simulator up, we kind of go through the same scenario and, kind of go through the whole process, kind of what you did wrong, what you did right. So we're working on that. We're working on another grant. I think it's that Coosa Valley River Grant, or is RCND or something. Yeah, we're working on it. But try to get some of those, I don't know what's called, the fire extinguisher thing we saw the other day. What's that called? Eric Reese. Try to get some of those for patrol vehicles also. And then we're working on another beautification grant that I talked to you about. It's called, trying to replace some of the bushes in front of the sheriff's office that may have died or whatever. So, just that lobby part right now, we've kind of got all the bushes took up, and then they're supposed to come in, I think, in July, and put some more shrubbery out front in some of those places. And it's not a whole lot, it's like $500. So we only took them up to see how far it gets us before we move any of the other ones. So that's all I have. Any questions for me? No, ma'am. And we still haven't heard anything on, we applied, it's been a while back for grant for new radios. We haven't heard anything on it either. I think it's still showing pending, but yeah. So
Are both those two new drones operational now and working?
we're still waiting on that one also. We hadn't got that one yet off the railroad. Yes, we hadn't got it yet either. We're still waiting on it also. But we've been awarded it.
Well, you actually used the one you already have, this
Yes.
last
Yes.
event.
Mhm. Yeah, we were. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought that's.
George, what was the name of that bank?
Is
Air 3.
Three?
Air 3.
Three.
Air 3.
No other official here. Any bid openings? Public hearing, consent agenda. One that's unanimous are number 1, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10, number 11, number 12, number 13, and number 14.
On the number 6, that one, I have to abstain on, so that's the reason it's not signed.
Okay.
If for one is an abstention, then it would be
There's just 2.
two.
I didn't sign that one, I got a question on that.
And then District 3 did not sign number 2.
Make a motion to accept all of them with those taken out.
With the exception of 2 and 6. Okay. Mr. Hendricks, that motion, Mr. Owen, second. Any discussion? All in favor? So, everybody read this?
Yes, sir. Consent two would be item C, and consent six would be item D.
Okay. New business, MOU with Town of Ranburne.
Whereas the town of Cleburne is requesting assistance from the Cleburne County Sheriff's Department in providing law enforcement patrols and calls within the town of Cleburne jurisdiction. Whereas the Cleburne County Sheriff agrees that the service is needed, given the lack of officers working for the town at this time. Whereas the town of Cleburne will be billed an amount to reimburse the county for the service provided. Whereas a memorandum of understanding has been prepared that will clarify the responsibilities of both parties involved and will cover a period of 3 years. Therefore, the Cleburne County Commission resolves to accept the MOU allowing the use of its deputies within the town of Cleburne and authorizes its chairman to sign the MOU on behalf of the commission.
Make a motion.
What's your motion for? Table it?
The table for the next meeting.
Second. Any discussion on tabling the MOU with Ranburne? All in favor? Okay. Any opposed?
Because there's not any even written yet.
Item B.
Whereas the Cleburne County Engineer has provided amendments to the county's subdivision regulations, whereas these amendments have been reviewed by the county attorney and county commissioners, therefore the Cleburne County Commission resolves to accept the subdivision regulations with the new amendments.
I make a motion.
I second it.
Mr. Owens made a motion, Mr. Martin seconded, any discussion?
We had to get the typos straightened out.
Yes. I would ask that if this passes, it gets put on our website. I don't see an issue with that, so everybody can read it.
Put it on our website.
Do we need to put it on my tape or pass it?
The subdivision regulation are on the website, so I would just add
Further
these as
updated,
needed.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're not building this from ground up, we're just making amendments to it.
Yeah. Any more discussion? All in favor? Motion passes.
New business item C is consent agenda item 2. The Cleburne County Commission recognizes the following board appointment statuses as of this meeting. Vacancies: Hospital Board 1, DHR 1, Board resignations none, and Board appointments none.
I would like to add for the hospital board, Richard Poland, and I already did, and Lisa, his information.
you have a motion to add him to hospital board?
Yes.
I second it.
Second. Okay, Mr. Reeves made a motion, Ms. Cobb seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes.
New business item D is consent agenda item 6, whereas the Cleveland County Commission approved and authorized an equal land exchange between the commission and Jerry Paul Owen at its January 20th, 2026 meeting. And whereas further investigation shows that property lines as drawn will cause problems with water issues. And whereas the county and Jerry Paul Owen have reached a further agreement regarding an additional equal land exchange to prevent any issues regarding water. And whereas the Cleburne County Commission is authorized under the laws of the state of Alabama to acquire, convey, and exchange real property when such action serves a valid public purpose. And whereas the Commission has determined that the exchange of certain real property owned by Cleburne County, Alabama for certain real property owned by Jerry Paul Owen will promote and further economic development within Cleburne County. And whereas the properties to be exchanged are of substantially equal value and no monetary consideration is required as part of this transaction. And whereas the Commission finds that the proposed land exchange is in the best interest of Cleburne County and serves a legitimate public purpose related to economic development. Now therefore be it resolved by the Cleburne County Commission as follows. 1, approval of land exchange. The Cleburne County Commission hereby approves an equal exchange of real property between Cleburne County, Alabama and Jerry Paul Owen as more particularly described in Exhibit A attached here 2. 2, authorization to execute documents. The Chair of the Cleburne County Commission, Lane Kilgore, is hereby authorized and directed to execute all deeds, conveyance instruments, and any other documents necessary or appropriate to complete the land exchange approved by this resolution. 3, condition of property. The exchange shall be subject to all easements, rights of way, and conditions of record as shown on the survey attached as Exhibit A. 4, effective date. This resolution shall become effective immediately upon its adoption.
Your motion,
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Hendricks made a motion, Mr. Owen seconded. Discussion?
I got the, property descriptions that Lisa sent out today. Can somebody elaborate on what kind of water problem we had?
So where the property that they originally purchased, there was underlying streams that was going to cost an excessive amount of money to mitigate. So we took the property and just shifted it this way to avoid those streams. So it would not blow the budget. We just shifted it. So now we gotta exchange that land back to Jerry Paul. And then he exchanges a little
Across
bit
the
over
road
this. Mhm.
Okay.
That's why.
Gotcha.
This is not gonna affect the Southwater project. It's actually that way.
Yeah, it's just
Doesn't have anything to do
literally,
with our property side road, it's on the other
no,
side.
absolutely not. No,
Okay.
it doesn't have anything to do with that.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Ms. Power abstains. Lisa?
I don't have much for you this month, but I did, provide a revenue update for you all. Just when you look at those numbers and you look at the percentage for the year, I don't want you to think that we are actually 50% collected for the year. It's about 42%, because we really, if you look at these numbers, it's only the collections through, for the revenues through the 5th month. We're always a month behind because of those, we receive the monies. So when you look at those numbers, they're not really that far out for what we're expecting for this part of time of the year. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. If you need time to look over them, but I'll be glad to answer any questions you have. And that is, that's all.
The opioid amendments, do we need a resolution for me to sign that, or is one to pass?
Need the one that passed it
That was all.
It's still the same suits that we joined, and this is just an additional center.
Okay. Any questions for Lisa?
Oh, not really, but I'll still follow. Approved and wait.
Lee, is that everything?
Just updating that Vulcan started mobilizing today, they're gonna get started working in the morning on the pipe crossings and the gas tank. So that'll be rolling over the next several weeks. County Road 10 on the bridge, got an email last week from the Corps of Engineers saying that they, anticipate having the permit written by the end of this week. So as soon as we get it, we'll finish up the plans, which ain't gonna take no time, really. So I think pretty quick, we are gonna be ready to get that out for advertisement. And, it's just a quick update on 71, because we've had several phone calls about the height restrictors that got knocked off. I'm waiting on signage to put back on the restrictors, is the only reason why the beams ain't, back on each yet. We have a shop that's waiting on signs, so we'll get everything signed.
Did you recover the one that went in the water?
Not yet, it's still there, but we are going to review it. We'll just,
Where the signs messed up?
yes. It'll be in touch with everything, so. That's all I got.
Anything else?
Wait, 66, you still not know when they're coming in to, repair those areas, correct?
That's what they're mobilizing in. I don't know the date, but that's what they're coming, when they start in the morning, that's what we're working on. We've got 18 different projects or locations going on that they've got to get to.
Over 100 patches though altogether.
All together, but it's countywide. So yes, that's what they're mobilizing to do. I just can't tell you it's gonna be next Tuesday.
Did they estimate how long the whole?
About a month.
About a month.
If it's getting over,
Yeah, I agree.
43 is nice. It's an excellent dirt patch.
It, 66 ain't bad if you get it there.
yeah, you got three prices.
Anything else for Lee? Jason, you got anything? No old business? Terry, you got anything?
Yeah, it's so crazy, but we got dead trees all over the county. What kind of, plan do we have, or do we have a plan?
Right now, we're going to cut them as they get them out of the road as they fall. I agree 100% that it's definitely gonna be an issue, because they all of them saying. I mean, the problem is most of them are on or off right of way. And so we have to have temporary easements and to go take care of them, but it's.
So if we went through with a boom truck and cut them, say went 40, maybe 30 foot high and cut them off at the top, do we have to move everything away? I mean, we have to clean it up too?
I mean, still, technically, you could leave that temporary easement because it's still on or off that, right at that right of way.
Is there anything we can do, Jason, to do, and I'm not, some kind of countywide emergency deal where we can just, when we see a dead tree that maybe 3 foot off the right of way, that we can just take care of without going through all this paperwork?
The problem is, you can't expend any funds to get to the private property.
But you're staying on right of way right here.
You said off the road.
Well, most of them in my district are off the right of way, some of them ain't off the right of way that far, but more than likely, they're gonna fall across the road.
And
You know.
truthfully, most of them are probably right on the right of way where old fences used to be.
You got some either, some of them, yeah, they close.
But we don't know, that tree may be dead now, but it may stand there for a year, it may stand there for a month, it may stand there for a day. How do you define that as an emergency? You really can't.
If it falls in the middle of the night, it's emergency.
Many falls.
And then it's our problem to deal with, but until such time as it's on county-owned property, we can't benefit a private property owner. We can encourage private property owners to clean up their dead trees.
Any way we do that?
We certainly encourage them to. Put it out on the Facebook page, put it out on the website.
Also, we got dead trees right here on our property, the county property, we need to do something with them.
If they're on our property, we take care of them immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to think we'd take down all the ones that are on the right of way, but I don't think we got the manpower and resources to do it. I mean, it'd be a big job.
work.
finding the right of way, that's what, they're all so close that you, I mean, cause what's it say, it says root bond. So,
Does that mean if it's split, you can't touch it if it's on both sides?
You cut the limbs off on your side, if it's a line tree, but you can't cut them off on the other side, or take the tree down, that's what that is.
and that's what you're dealing with are line trees. I mean, when you measure over to them, just going where you hold is 39 to 40.
I think we found a lot of them fence road.
It is,
The old
it's
right
old
of way.
fence roads, the old right of way, you're right.
Terry?
What about the ones that are on public land? Can we send them a letter or encourage them? Because I know there's one spot on 49 where they came in and cut the timber, but they left all the dead ones.
So I've asked that question, and what their answer is, goes back to the line tree deal. Those are line trees, and they're not allowed to cut line trees.
So if we did a resolution that says, if it's within, you can cut up to our right of way. You see what I'm saying? Especially on the forestry property, because they did it just for the timber, and we don't want it on the right of way, so if we at least done a resolution giving them the okay, that anything that's close to the right of way, that they're welcome to cut down.
And not leave that razor blade.
Yeah, we can do that.
What about the environmental concerns with endangered?
Pedestrians.
Property that's been
Dead
logged.
trees are well known to be habitat for bats and certain woodpeckers.
Well, I'm not gonna be-
But it's only been designated as a habitat.
So you
I
leave
don't know,
those?
I'm not expert on that, but I would imagine it's considered habitat a lot of times. So what did you tell us, what you got into up there near Lodiga Trail? You were trying to clean up some dead trees up there?
That was, part of the Lodiga Trail bunch. Same situation, there's a logger up there, I told him just go ahead and cut on over and not leave that row of trees, and I'd have to go back and look, cause I can't remember the guy's name, but one of the trail associations called and said that part of the beautification on the trail was that I couldn't cut the trees, and I had to stop, so.
There's a terrible patch of dead trees between Borden Fire Department and the trail, right, in between county roads and the trail, it's all right of way. Every bit of it's not even private property, but there's a bunch of dead trees that are dangerous. Ask Peanut Meyer, see, that's gonna fall on him, a couple years ago on private property. Once they coming at you,
Terry, you have anything?
not much you can do.
I mean, what do we need to take care of around this building? We need a resolution or somebody?
Look, Southward just got through doing what, about 100, 200 trees with a skidder the other day. They come up and cut all these back here. Guys come up with a skidder, and all they did was cut them and lay them on the ground, right, Fred?
They cut the ones behind our property, not on our property.
They cut all
How
of them.
much pine is it? I mean, cause it's just in the pine.
Yeah.
How about just cut all the pine down that we got right here and leave hardwoods?
You wanna just let it lay on the ground?
I'm not, that's the reason I'm throwing it out there for discussion.
Let's talk with the guy that cut the ones over here, before we get a quote on it. We don't have the means to be able to go out there.
They got cutters to cut them off and
Yeah,
lay them
just
down.
lay 'em down. That way you don't have to worry about tearing up all your oaks and your poplars and stuff.
Hey, if we got somebody that can,
You got somebody that's gonna,
Yeah, but you don't want to clear cut it. It's
no, we're
gonna
just gonna take the pines down, we're gonna leave all the hardwood. And we'll leave a couple of trees for the bats and the weasels and stuff.
Lay it down from that.
Think about
There
what
you
you're
go.
doing.
I'll do something with the work session.
Yeah, I'll work on trying to find somebody to do that.
It could run.
Anything else, Terry? Laura, anything?
Yes, I have a couple things. First, I did put this on the resolution, but I'm needing to purchase 3 of those Air 3 for 3 of my stations, fire stations. So I need to add that. Also, I think, Lisa, y'all got a bill in for, Cane Creek.
We did.
I need to have that taken out of my discretionary money.
Okay, that'll have to be added also.
Yes.
Resolution.
And also, the, animal shelter, is getting close to being open, but they need $1,250, $12,500 for, kennels, right? And
That's
so,
also a grant.
the grants and go through, so I would like to ask any of the commission that would like to contribute to that, if any of y'all would like to contribute to it, I'm willing to put up my discretionary money for part of it,
I'll put that part of mine.
so. yes.
Okay. Jerry?
Do we have a contract or anything with them? I mean, we keep giving this money to them without a contract or any ties.
Some kind of agreement.
We don't have agreement. We don't have agreement with a shelter or anything.
They're just a non-profit, right?
Nonprofit, they're a nonprofit. I still want to contribute half of mine to, Emmett, you gonna share that with me?
Yeah.
Okay, divide the 12.5 between Emmett and I for the animal shelters.
The city of Heflin put in 12.5 too. It's 25,000 for all the kennels and the gates.
So you want to add new business, animal shelter funds, Candy Creek, and,
Shelter, the air, they call it air free.
fire crew.
Air free. I need to, they're 18,000 apiece. And I'm purchasing 3 of them.
1,800. 1,800.
But not 18,000. Excuse me, should have remembered that. Then, do I need I just need to purchase 3 of them.
Okay, while he's writing those up, do you have anything more? You have anything?
Over at the session office, we looked at putting in a pump, and I guess our best bet is to go ahead and lower the sewer line coming out in front of the building, going out to Brockford Street, and it's gonna be $1,000 worth of, cutting asphalt and, patching it, and then $58.50. We got that in, Fred and mine's, Fred's account, that we can do it for, use some of the money for the HVAC. Are y'all okay with that? So we wanna do that, we got it in the budget. Also, I wanna get 3 of those, air free for the health and fire department, those, I heard the name of the things, air free.
Their CAD system,
Yes,
CAD system.
Oh, cat.
it was amazing.
Compressed air phone system.
I couldn't believe that.
I know, they're incredible, aren't they?
I tell you what, they need them to the Ranger in the.
Yes,
On straight.
they do.
That's who needs those things. So whatever that cost is, $1,800.
While we're waiting on him, Candy,
Yes, so, a couple things, the America 250, celebration. There's a grant that county commission can apply for. I don't think, Lisa and I talked about this today, I don't think it requires a vote of you guys to do it, for me to submit a grant. I was trying to figure out how we could, use some of the funds to work on the courthouse, to do some kind of work, like the cleaning up of the courthouse, so we have some funds available to do that. And so the project that I've come up with, I just want to make you aware of it, is I'm calling it, let me see.
Would it replace could we replace that flagpole with that money? If not, we
How
need
much
to
is a
replace the
flagpole though? Isn't it
I mean,
expensive? This is only $2,500,
Well,
and
we
you
probably-
gotta make it fit into their parameters.
Okay,
So, I'm calling it Cleburne County Courthouse, 250 Years of Democracy in Action. And so what I'm doing is going to create a digital, story, like digital audio tour, so that when you come up to the courthouse, you can like click a QR or do a QR code, and what we can do is record some stories about and tell the story of the courthouse and significant things that happen in history there. So that, with that, we can include a beautification section that helps us clean up around the courthouse. So there's funds available. Do we have, is there something that already exists like that at the courthouse?
I don't think so.
Okay, what do y'all think about that?
I think it's great.
And also, Southern Custom Exhibit announcement, they do a lot of those.
Yes, yes.
You know, they've
But
done-
this would have to be, we would, what I would probably do is actually send it to our website and have it kind of function through, get Eric to have it function through our website, so that gets people at our website too, additional people there.
The ACCA just sent out an email this morning, they also got a grant for that.
That is what this is.
Oh,
That's what this is. So it's $2,500, just so you know. Main Street, Heflin Main Street is celebrating its 10-year anniversary this year. It's been 10 years since we were designated, Main Street. And so they're gonna be having a birthday bash on June 25th at the schools. They'll have food and it'll be a big birthday cake and all kinds of, there'll be some music and just and everybody will be invited to that. And so, that will kick off a year-long celebration of 10 years. So there's several things that will be planned over the year that will celebrate those 10 years. I'm speaking tomorrow at Sloss Furnace. There's a national architectural conference, and Chambliss King was asked to present on the Chi Hall Lodge project. Or the Chi Hall, not the lodge, the new hotel. And so they've asked for an economic impact perspective. So I'm sitting on that panel and talking to them tomorrow. Wednesday will be the Trails Conference. The Trails Conference, Alabama Trails will be here at, and there'll probably be a good, 100 folks here, from all over the state. And, they'll be hearing, about our trails and what we've done here in the area. I think you're gonna do the welcome. Mark's gonna do the welcome.
I'll let you order it.
And I'm gonna be sitting on a panel, so you might as well, it's better coming from y'all. And then, I'm still working on the energy grant. It's taken me a while to figure out what our energy rates are. Calculating, if anybody knows how to calculate those things better than me, that would be great. But, lots of math involved in that. And then, the traffic study is getting underway for Southwire, and there's lots of other stuff going on, little things. That is what I wanted to talk about. That's it.
New business item E, whereas Commissioner Cobb wishes to purchase 3 of the Air 3 fire extinguisher systems for the fire departments in her district, and whereas said purchases would be made from Commissioner Cobb's discretionary funds at a total cost of $5,400, and whereas said purchases serves a valid public purpose, now therefore the Commission approves the purchase of 3 Air 3 systems from Commissioner Cobb's discretionary funds.
Is there a motion to add that to?
Make a motion.
Second.
I want to make a motion, Trick, second. All in favor, add it to the agenda. Is there a motion to accept the?
I make a motion to accept it.
Second.
Judy, Ms. Scott. Any discussion? All in favor?
New business item F, whereas Commissioners Cobb and Owen wish to expend $12,500 to support the opening of the Heflin Animal Control Facility, and whereas such expenditure serves a valid public purpose, now therefore the Commission approves the expenditure of $6,250 from both Commissioner Cobb and Commissioner Owen's discretionary funds to be sent to the Heflin Animal Control Facility.
Make a motion.
I second it.
All in favor, add it to the agenda. Okay. Is there a motion to,
Make a motion to accept it.
okay,
Second.
Mr. Owen, Mr. Fowler, any discussion on that? All in favor?
I'm a no.
Okay. Mr. Booth?
New business item G, whereas Commissioner Cobb wishes to utilize funds from her discretionary fund to cover the bill charged to Cane Creek Fire Department in the amount of not to exceed $1,000, and whereas such expenditure serves a valid public purpose, now therefore the Commission approves not to exceed $1,000 of Commissioner Cobb's discretionary fund to cover the bill charged to Cane Creek Fire Department.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Conway, all in favor of adding to the agenda? So motion to accept that.
Make a motion.
Mr. Owen, make a motion, Mr. Fowler. Any discussion?
Is this a new invoice we just got?
This is the invoice that was back in February that they had not sent us until now.
How much is this for?
It's only 840 something, but it's supposed to go to 1,000, just to make sure we got it covered.
The ones we approved previously, not this one.
This is a new one that got overlooked.
We done a lot of that. Can we, when you get that invoice, is it okay that we make it where she can go ahead and bring a resolution to the table with this to see if it's gonna happen, or do we have to work it through there? Like we do each time where you got about the resolution.
If you know of it at a work session, put them on the consent agenda.
Well, if you don't,
I didn't know
We
about
didn't know, so it's just.
they just bring it, the invoice comes, we don't ever know when it's coming, but it seems like you're getting to write that every other month. Are you okay? Okay. Keep
What I'm
going.
here for.
I'm just trying to get you out a little bit.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
New business item H, whereas Commissioner Owen wishes to purchase 3 of the Air 3 fire extinguisher systems for the fire department in Heflin, and whereas said purchases would be made from Commissioner Owen's discretionary funds at a total cost of $5,400, and whereas said purchases serves a valid public purpose, now therefore the Commission approves the purchase of 3 Air 3 systems from Commissioner Owen's discretionary funds.
I make a motion to accept it.
Mr. Cobb, Mr. Owen, add it to the agenda. All in favor?
Make a motion.
I second.
Make a motion.
Motion to accept it, Mr. Owen,
And I second it.
any discussion on that? All in favor? Is that it? Anything else?
Make a motion to adjourn, man.
I have one more thing. Ms. Fuller had asked about a check to borrow, to do a temporary transfer for her, property tax account, because she's got an outstanding check right now that was returned, and she's hoping it's gonna get cleared up, but she needs funding to do that, and she's gonna have to draw those funds back from each of her entities that she sends money to.
What's the total?
56,000.
56,000.
And what accounts is involved?
We would just have to use our temporary account to tide her over, would be, temporary account, I should say rainy day fund or general fund. To do it, either way.
We're not doing it just from the general fund, because she's gonna turn around and pay it back, and it's coming back to us.
Yeah, it'd be a temporary transfer, it'd be a transfer to her out of the general fund and then transfer it right back as soon as she got her
I
money.
know that she just put it out of general fund.
What do you think the auditor is gonna say?
I don't think we're gonna have a problem with it, we're going from we actually have to do that, it's not uncommon for us to have to do a temporary transfer when we get close to the end of our budget year anyway, because of the way her funds come in, it's not uncommon for us to have to do that, we know it's a temporary transfer till her next month budget starts up, next year's budget starts up, so they don't have a problem with doing a temporary transfer like that.
I make a motion that we add the resolution to transfer those funds temporarily.
I second it.
This is not mine.
Okay,
He stated the motion.
okay. Made a motion, add that to the agenda.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
Joyce, do you anticipate when you expect to get the money?
Well, it was supposed to have been here Friday, and that's why I was kinda holding off, asking this question, and it didn't make it. And now the discussion is, the mortgage holder is in response now that they're gonna pay it. So we think in the next couple of days, they'll probably wire it, or send it overnight to us when they do it, but it hasn't happened yet.
And it's a mortgage company that's got a.
They do have a lien over this large taxpayer.
So they're not gonna lose it?
They're not gonna let it go to sale, correct?
Okay.
All in favor of adding it to the agenda?
Uh,
Okay. Motion to,
I'm not gonna consider.
I second
Mr. Irwin, Mr. Any more discussion?
We need to put a lien on it,